Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys a little bit about something I find really amusing because, I make videos discussing nutrition, and what's interesting is the two most extreme diet groups being vegans and carnivore diets, because they literally cut out half of the foods, like normal foods that human would be eating. They cut half of them out of their diet completely. So again, that's very, very extreme, because it's not like they're cutting out, oh, let's cut out junk food. No, they're cutting out whole foods. And what's interesting to me is how both groups adamantly defend, because both groups come and argue with me and attack me, and it's really funny because you would think that they would be polar opposites, right? You would think they would be polar opposites and they would be fighting each other, but instead both groups come and argue with anyone who says, hey, we should be eating both plants and animals, right? They actually attack normal balanced diets, like are those of us who promote it. They want to argue with us, and it's really insane, It's really insane. But then again, sane people don't gravitate to these types of diets, for the most part. They're extreme. But that being said, both groups love to make the exact same argument for their diet, right? And actually, both groups are wrong. Both groups are completely wrong. And they will come and argue that, the vegans will say plants, and then, of course, the carnivores will say from animals, right? That you can get everything that you need. There's not one nutrient that you can't get, and ideal amounts from an all vegan diet if they're vegan, or the carnivores from an all animal source diet, right? Both groups argue this point, and it's so provably false. Okay, literally both groups have to supplement. And then you start talking about strength training in athletes, and there's even larger deficiencies, right? It's even more difficult to get what you need. Okay, it's even more difficult. But we're talking just for overall general health. Okay, and the vegans will argue this, and it's like, well, not really though. Without supplementation, you can't. And I'm not saying people can't supplement to get around these things. In fact, I'll go so far as to say that between these two diets, it's probably easier to supplement and correct issues on the vegan diet than it is the carnivore. The carnivore is arguably the worst of the two. Okay? I want to be clear there. Philosophically, the carnivore diet is cool. Practically, it is literally moronic beyond all belief. Okay? Just make that clear. That's my opinion, by the way. My opinion. Of course, you take the vegan diet, and I think that philosophically, it's fucking batshit nuts. That's my opinion. Practically, it makes more sense than the carnivore diet. It probably practically makes more sense than a lot of fad diets, at least in the ability to apply it and the ability to not hurt your health too bad if you're very careful. Now, if you're not careful, it can harm you quite badly. Okay, so that's kind of the ironic part between the two. But that aside, they'll say that you can get everything you need, but it's like, but you can't. You really can't. The vegan one, it's a little less bad. For them, what are they missing? Probably EPA and DHA. Okay? B12. Highly bioavailable protein. Those are your problems. Getting adequate calcium can be difficult without dairy. Now, can all those things be supplemented? All those things can be supplemented. All those things can be supplemented. But to say that the diet itself, you can get these things, is just simply not true. It's not true. Not from the actual foods. So it does require significant supplementation. In that case, B12, omega-3. Now, before they say, well, you can get it all from ALA, Yeah, but there are problems with using purely ALA as your omega-3. Okay, we know those problems. It's been found in the literature over the years. Okay, it is not perfect and it's not without problems. The B12, yeah, it has to be supplemented. In fact, it's been argued by many experts over the years that possibly the B12 deficiency and the brain problems are one of the reasons you see. That's a hypothesis some have, some very intelligent experts, that might be why so many vegans exhibit so much mental illness, B12 deficiency. Because some of them will get so extreme and claim, well, you don't even have to supplement. Well, that's where they're going to really hurt themselves. Like that is an extremely deadly assumption. That is a potentially deadly assumption. But yeah, the B12 has to be supplemented, and that's not overly difficult to do. B12 is readily available. Shabu jokingly said, "You want to get rid of veganism, outlaw B12 supplements. All the vegans will die. Problem solved. They'll eventually die from it." I know that sounds terrible, but those things, the protein bioavailability is the biggest problem, and it really is a problem. Carnivore, on the other hand, my God, they're missing everything. And they'll claim, well, the only thing you're not getting is vitamin C. And they'll come up with the craziest how crazy they get. You can get it from eating sliced up raw adrenal glands. There's trace amounts in there. Jesus. Like, that's how crazy they are. They're going to go try to find adrenal glands because they're scared to eat some broccoli. Can you imagine that? Imagine the level of mental illness and cognitive dissonance required to say, I am so terrified to eat some broccoli. I'm going to purchase and slice up raw adrenal gland to eat. Wow. Whew. Ooh, that's bad. All right. What's all the other stuff? All the fiber. Fiber is essential for health. How about all the phytonutrients, all these other antioxidants? Because they're only looking at the main micronutrients that we track normally. Oh, there's a whole host of other stuff that we benefit from enormously. In fact, when they start being anti-vegetable or anti-fruit, any of this stuff, you know that they're ignoring all science. They're ignoring all the data, because the data shows repeatedly that people who eat much larger amounts of fruits and vegetables have lower all-cause mortality across the board. Like, that is not even a remotely controversial statement. That's why the vegans can get away with being vegan, because they're still eating all those super healthy foods in large amounts. They're just missing some critical things. But the ironic part, both of these groups will argue adamantly. They will argue into the ground. They'll come and argue with you. When some of us just want to promote sane eating, how about let's not do any of this goofball, silly, extreme crap? And why don't we just eat balanced, omnivore diets with a nice diversity of whole foods? And let's just all be healthy. We could do that too. I think that makes a lot more sense. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.